on your side. This is WNCT 9 News at 6.
Much cooler day of weather outside today, feeling almost like autumn at times. Take a look at the numbers on the board out there. We've got 60s in Greenville, Rocky Mount, 67 in New Bern, 71 in Beaufort, and 69 degrees over in Cape Hatteras. One of the big reasons for the cool down is the northerly flow that has kicked in, and also all the abundant cloud cover that held tough in most of our counties today. You can see that we do have a few showers lingering up to the north, but most of the really active weather is off to the west, where we're tracking severe weather from Tennessee all the way down to the Gulf Coast states. Powerful low pressure system will eventually push a cold front our way, and a weather alert day is in effect for Friday for severe storm potential. We'll talk about it coming up. The longest running newscast in the East starts now.
To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away. There's a hollowness in your chest. You feel like you're being sucked into it and never going to be able to get out.
President Joe Biden addressing the nation last night as 21 people, including 19 children, are now dead following a school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ken Watlington.
And I'm Angie Casada. Thanks for joining us. That's where we begin tonight with our continuing coverage. The 18-year-old shooter, Salvador Ramos, first made social media posts Tuesday saying he was going to shoot his grandmother. The next post said he shot her, and the final that he was going to shoot up an elementary school. After leaving his grandmother's, he crashes his truck near Robb Elementary. That's where he barricades himself in a classroom and starts shooting. After reporting the shooting, the school and the entire district went into a lockdown in a matter of minutes. Now, after about an hour, children are reunited with parents at a nearby civic center. Later, that civic center turns to a place of mourning as victims' families find out the tragic news. After opening fire with his assault-style rifle, Ramos stays in that classroom. Police break into the room, then shot and killed the 18-year-old. Today, sadness and grief overwhelm Uvalde, Texas, as well as the nation. And as the community learns more about who was killed inside that school, they're grappling with a sudden and unbearable loss.
It is intolerable and it is unacceptable for us to have in the state anybody who would kill little kids in our schools.
Some parents waited all night to find out if their child survived the massacre. Authorities used DNA samples to help identify victims. And here locally, the Greenville Police Department is reacting to the tragedy by buckling down on school safety. Today, they put more units and patrols at our local schools for the foreseeable future. Now to your sides, Claire Mollet spoke with the police chief today. She joins us now live from uptown Greenville. And Claire, what did the chief of police have to say?
Yeah, Ken, Angie, Greenville Police Chief Mark Holtzman said following yesterday's shooting, they worked out a plan with local schools to increase all visible police presence on every campus immediately, beginning first thing this morning.
So a lot of our detectives that are normally in this building behind me started their day at schools, parked there in a visible spot. So as parents are coming up and dropping those kids off, they have a little bit more peace of mind knowing that we're really aware of what the concern is, and we want to help put the community's mind at ease as best we can.
This also follows as the police department has filed charges against a student who posted a school shooting threat as a, quote, prank. GPD says they were made aware of an Instagram post by a student threatening a shooting to take place today at J.H. Rose High School. After officers were able to identify the source of the post, the student confessed, saying they meant it as a prank. Holtzman says this could not come at a worse time given yesterday's tragedy.
Especially today. You just can't. So detectives are following up with juvenile justice to place some charges on that youth for the social media post to hold that young man accountable. And so we'll be working with the Office of Juvenile Justice for that.
Holtzman says the student has been told to stay away from the school. He says this is a success story of our community members working along with local law enforcement, adding it's crucial that we continue that kind of relationship when dealing with these sorts of situations. Live in Greenville, Claire Mollet, 9 on your side.
Claire, thanks. Today, Pitt County Schools is addressing the increased student safety protocols as well as the mental health well-being as top priorities in the district's 38 schools. The system has increased the number of school resource officers in the wake of the Texas school shooting. In a statement today, Pitt County Schools Superintendent Dr. Ethan Linker said in part, quote, "We need to continue to always be in a precautionary and prepared position, not a reactionary one, with the safety of our children being the foremost concern." He went on to say mental health resources are a key component in schools and community.
And across the East, school districts are doing what they need to do to reassure concerned parents about their students' safety in classrooms, just like this one. 9 on Your Side's Claire Curry spoke with those school officials and law enforcement on their school safety protocols.
Onslow County is just one of the eastern North Carolina communities working to protect their students each and every day. Onslow County Sheriff Hans Miller says it's their top priority. Miller says that the sheriff's office has been in communication with Onslow County schools about their safety precautions. Chief Communications Officer for the schools, Brent Anderson, says that parents have reached out asking about their training. He says that all school campuses have cameras and locks on the doors from the outside, as well as law enforcement on school grounds.
If students and staff do not feel safe on campus, we cannot get any learning or instruction done. We are constantly looking at what we do to ensure safety for our students and our staff, and we'll continue to monitor the plans that we have in place.
Carteret County Public Schools and Duplin County Schools also released statements including information on their safety protocol, such as frequent lockdown drills and active shooter training. The Craven County Sheriff's Office also released a statement that more deputies will be on school grounds throughout the rest of the school year. In Onslow County, Claire Curry, 9 on Your Side.
And mental health experts are saying increased school shooting events like these are having a lasting impact. After a tragedy like this, many of us wonder what comes next. One ECU psychology professor says as these events continue to occur, we become numb, adding the first step to a solution is to view the issue for what it is.
It's a serious threat to public health. There was an article out in the New England Journal of Medicine just the other day that identified gun-related death as the leading cause of death for children age 1 to 19.
He adds, just as seatbelts are required for public health reasons, we should view gun regulations the same without politics getting in the way.
And speaking of that, impacts also felt in Washington tonight as we take a live look at the Capitol, where the debate over gun control legislation is ramping back up. President Joe Biden says Congress has it within its power to prevent another tragedy like this one that unfolded Tuesday. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says the Senate will move quickly on legislation, including a background check bill already passed in the House.
It is unacceptable to the American people to think that there are not 10 of my Republican colleagues, just 10, 1 out of 5 over here, who would be ready to work to pass something.
Republicans have consistently been able to defeat gun control measures, and they accuse Democrats of politicizing tragedies to push an agenda.
You see Democrats and a lot of folks in the media whose immediate solution is to try to restrict the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens.
54% of Americans surveyed by CBS News earlier this month say laws covering the sale of guns should be more strict.
And tonight we want to hear your thoughts about gun laws here in the United States.
So in tonight's Vote Now on 9 poll, we're simply asking, are you in favor of tougher gun laws?
Right now, most of you say you are in favor of tougher gun laws. To vote, just head over to WNCT.com/vote or use the 9 on Your Side mobile app and find the Vote Now on 9 in the menu.
You can check out the final results of our poll later tonight, starting at your news at 10 on the Eastern North Carolina CW, and again at 11 right here on WNCT.
An update now on breaking news. We first brought you about a multi-car crash on our 5 o'clock newscast. This was the scene just about an hour ago as crews worked to clear that road. 5 people were taken to a local hospital, 1 pinned in of one of the 4 cars along Greenville Boulevard. First responders were able to get that person out. We will continue to update you on this crash as well as those injured, both on air and online.
New at 6 tonight, the families of 4 people who died in the February plane crash off of the Crystal Coast are suing the companies that owned the plane and employed the pilot. The suit claims the pilot, Ernest Rawls, failed to maintain control and improperly flew into weather conditions with limited visibility that required the use of certain instruments. The plane crash killed all 8 people on board, including 4 teenagers.
And an update tonight on a story we first brought you last week. This man, 41-year-old Kenneth Reynolds, is behind bars, now facing charges for his alleged role in a Jacksonville bomb threat. It happened on May 18th at the Furniture for Less store, where the owner found a suitcase with the word boom on it. Now Reynolds' arrest actually dates back to another incident that happened in February when several notes were found along Richlands Highway indicating there was a bomb at that same Furniture for Less store. Reynolds is now in the Onslow County Detention Center under a $1.5 million bond.
In efforts to keep crime down, Onslow County Sheriff Hans Miller is reminding folks of their neighborhood watches. Miller says the program has been around since 2015. It encourages residents to be aware of suspicious activities in their community, and if they see something, say something.
People need to know their neighbors and get along with their neighbors, and maybe have a meeting and say, hey, look, I'll look out for your property if you look out for my property, and it's a win-win situation.
Now, they say since Hurricane Florence and COVID-19, participation in the program has gone down. Miller hopes by spreading the word now, more people will work together to make the community safer.
Up next, your complete Storm Team 9 7-day forecast. A much cooler and quieter day of weather outside today. It may not last too long, though. We'll talk about a weather alert day for Friday coming up next.